details all the way. To enter, go to thecafe.co.nz.
That's what everybody needs, a warm winter holiday. Now, speaking of warm and home design, Hamish is here. And Hamish, you brought along a guest.
I know, I haven't brought along a friend in a long time. That's why I use friend. That's right. I brought along Wade Maurice from Coastal Wall Insulation. It's getting cold, and I think it's time that we should have a chat about this sort of thing. How are you, Wade?
Yeah, good, thanks, guys.
Okay, kicking off, tell me, what is the importance of insulation?
The simple answer is good insulation equals a warmer, drier, healthier home. It's that simple.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the simple thing is when I step out of bed and my feet freeze off, that's the answer to good insulation, because I haven't got it under my floors.
Okay, so is good insulation that's built to code, or is that just the minimum?
Yeah, well, let's be honest, the code that we're building to at the moment is not great, and the majority of our housing stock was built to a code that was even worse than that. So, it's a big issue, and reality is if you're building new, or if you're going to retrofit, you should be building, with insulation or insulating above the current code.
Stop your cold feet, Mel.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the benefits are, exactly warm and cosy homes. What about the different types? Because I get confused. There seems to be so much on offer.
Yeah, you break it down into three sort of segments, I guess. You've got your underfloor, your ceiling, and your walls. And then in all those segments, you've got different categories of product. You've got your polyester, which is a plastic, your woolen blends, fiberglass, and there's some good fiberglass and some not so great fiberglass. And then you've also got expanded foams and SIP panels and all sorts of things like that.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there is.
I was going to ask you that. So, are some better than others? I mean, I know.
Yeah, from my perspective, there's no such thing as bad insulation. Sure. I think generally what you get is people not pairing the right insulation up with the right job. So you get something that's not doing what it should be, and then complaints and then issues down the track. But
okay, well that brings me to the next point then. Should you use different insulation for different parts of the home? Different for the floor as to the ceiling, etc.
Yeah, I mean they all they're product specific, and you need to select the product that's going to suit. So underfloor insulation, for example, thermally, believe it or not, it's not as important. But what is important is it's self-supporting, mostly because it's got to hold itself up. It's exposed to moisture and things like that. So that side of it's really important. If you look at the ceiling, thermally, most of the heat goes up. So, really high R values in the ceiling. And then if you look at walls, different again. You're going into a really tight cavity, so you need a really dense insulation to get in there, and something that's going to work long term, because you can't get in there and fix it afterwards.
Actually, that's one of the things I was going to ask you, which is the most important. Like I thought the floor would be super important, but you got to get the stuff that sticks in, so it doesn't all fall out.
Yeah.
So should you be getting a professional to do it, or should you do it yourself?
Yeah, I've been in some really nasty situations over my life. Yeah, installing insulation, and look, reality is if you don't mind getting dirty and you're not claustrophobic, then by all means do your research and give it a try. But reality is ceilings and floors, you should really use a professional. Go to one of the websites like Insulation Association New Zealand, IONS, have a look. There's a whole bunch of guys there listed independently that can give you a free quote. When it comes to walls though, definitely professional.
Because if there's little gaps and things, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? Like it doesn't work properly if you've got it's not fitted properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how are the different types installed? So, because you can do stuff that's like blowing into walls, can't you? Or you can have the back kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, underfloor or ceilings is typically quite easy. You get access to that space and you put in a bat or blanket, or you may blow it. Walls is quite different. You've got two options, really. You can get your builder in and take all your linings off or your cladding and rip everything down, and then put in some building paper and some bats, and then put your jib back up and your skirtings and your linings and all those sorts of things.
That sounds hard.
It's a bit of a major. Or the second option is to try and use a system like our Cozy Wall system. So we send guys along and do an assessment of your building and get it done that way.
Okay, so Cozy Wall can take care of that issue for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have trained assessors who will come along. First thing they do is make sure that we can put the insulation into your home, because you can't do every house. Typically, they're older homes that we're looking at, so pre-1990. And the guys come along, give you a free quote. If you decide you want to go ahead, drill some little holes from the inside to the outside, fill that cavity with insulation that should be in there, and then reinstate it for you. So, a couple of days, it all looks as good as new.
Brilliant. I tell you what, your phone and your website's going to be very busy, I think, in the next few hours.
Cold snap timing. Yeah.
Mel, first customer, I think. Okay. Thank you, Hamish, and thank you so much, Wade. That was awesome. To find out more from Cozy Wall, you can head to the website, which is on screen now.
Now, joining us next is Mary Ansell. Alex